I'm sitting on the floor of what used to be my living room. It's empty. Not just, we're moving, empty. I mean empty. The TV is gone. The sofa is gone. They even took the coffee mug I left on the counter this morning. My wife of 4 years, the woman I've been with for 8, is gone. Her estranged brother, who I let live with us for 6 months, is also gone. And my entire inheritance, every last cent my father left me, is gone with them. I just found out the truth. They're not siblings. They never were. My whole life has been a lie, a meticulously crafted stage play, and I was the only one who didn't have the script. And now, sitting here in this hollowed-out shell of a house, I finally see it all. For context, I'm Mark, 32, or, I was. I feel about 80 right now. My wife, Jenna, 30, and I were, by all accounts, the perfect couple. We met in our early 20s, struggled through grad school, and built a life. It wasn't perfect. We had financial stress, the kind that grinds you down, where you argue about ordering pizza instead of cooking. But we loved each other. I truly believe that. 6 months ago, my father passed away. It was awful. He was my rock. But his passing left me with one unexpected, life-changing thing. A $200,000 inheritance. After taxes and fees, it was enough to pay off our debts and give us a massive down payment on a real house. For the first time in our adult lives, we could breathe. We were sitting at the kitchen table, looking at the bank statement, just stunned, when Jenna's phone rang. She looked at the screen, and her face went pale. Oh my God, I don't believe it. What? Who is it? It's my brother, Leo. This was a shock. Jenna had an estranged older brother. The story was that he was the black sheep, got into some trouble, and they hadn't spoken in almost a decade. She always got quiet and sad when he was mentioned. She took the call, her hand shaking. I just heard bits and pieces. Leo, where are you? Oh my God, no, of course. She hung up, and the tears were already streaming down her face. He's in trouble, Mark. He lost his job. His roommate kicked him out. He's sleeping in his car. He's a wreck. He asked if he could just stay with us. Just for a week or two. Just to get on his feet. I'm not going to lie. A tiny, selfish part of me bristled. We just got this money. We were just about to start our life. Now this, drama. But I looked at my wife, her eyes wide and pleading. He's my brother, Mark. He's got no one else. What could I say? He was family. Of course, I said. He can stay on the pull-out sofa. A week or two, until he figures things out. She threw her arms around me, sobbing with relief. Thank you. You're a good man. But I had no idea what was coming next. Leo showed up 2 days later. He wasn't the scruffy, dangerous-looking guy I'd pictured. He was clean-cut, in his mid-30s, and had this charisma. He was immediately, almost overwhelmingly, apologetic. Mark, I can't thank you enough. You're saving my life. I promise, I won't be a burden. I'll be out of your hair in 2 weeks, tops. He'd brought a decent bottle of whiskey for me and a bouquet of flowers for Jenna. And for the first month, he was the perfect houseguest. He was up at 7 a.m. looking for jobs. He cooked. He cleaned everything, without being asked. He fixed that leaky faucet in the bathroom I'd been ignoring for 6 months. He was quiet, respectful, and incredibly grateful. Jenna was overjoyed. She kept telling me how wonderful it was to have her brother back, how he'd really changed. Leo and I actually started to bond. My dad's death was still raw, and he was a really good listener. We'd sit on the porch, drink a beer, and he'd just let me talk. He'd talk about his own mistakes, how he was trying to get his life right. He seemed so genuine. Then, about a month in, the topic of the inheritance came up. I mentioned casually that I was just going to park it in some boring index funds. Leo, who'd mentioned he used to dabble in finance, just sort of chuckled. Be careful, man, he said, sipping his beer. The market's a roller coaster, and banks are just thieves. You'll be lucky to make 5%. He didn't push it. He just planted a seed. A week later, he came to me, looking electric. Mark, you're not going to believe this. An old colleague of mine, he runs a private real estate investment fund. It's strictly invite only, mostly for commercial properties. He's doing a new round of funding, and he told me, the returns are guaranteed at 15%. Guaranteed. My internal alarms went off. Leo, that sounds way too good to be true. Guaranteed 15%. that's not a thing. He nodded, totally understanding. I know. I thought so too. But this guy is legit. He's not some internet scammer. I've known him for years. Look. He pulled out his laptop. He showed me a website. It looked incredibly professional. Login portals, prospectuses, slick graphics. He even showed me his own account. I only had $2,000 to my name, he said, but I gave it to him. Look, it's already $2,500. He just closed a deal on a strip mall. I was still skeptical, but 15% on $200,000. That was real money. That night, I talked to Jenna. I expected her to be cautious. Instead, her eyes lit up. Oh my God, Mark. That could be it. That could be our house. In cash. He's your brother, Leo. Do you trust this guy? With my life, Leo said, joining us in the kitchen. Jenna, I wouldn't dream of bringing this to Mark if it wasn't 100% solid gold. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for. It's how I'm going to pay you guys back for everything. The two of them, my wife and her brother, they were so excited. They ganged up on me, in the nicest way possible. This is our shot. Jenna kept saying, don't be so cautious all the time. They wore me down. I felt like the bad guy, the wet blanket. So I agreed. Not all of it. I wasn't that stupid. Or so I thought. We agreed on $150,000. I'd keep $50,000 in our joint account for emergencies and the house search. Leo walked me through the wire transfer. It was to an LLC. It's for tax purposes, he said. My stomach was in knots. But I hit confirm. Leo clapped me on the shoulder. You're a genius, Mark. You just secured our family's future. The first payout was due in 30 days. Life went on. Leo was still the perfect house guest. Jenna was more affectionate than ever. We started going to open houses, dream shopping. It felt good. The 30-day mark arrived. I checked my account. Nothing. Hey, Leo, I asked casually. Haven't seen that deposit hit yet. Any word? Leo's face tightened. That's weird. Let me call him. He stepped outside. He came back in 10 minutes later, visibly annoyed. Sorry, man. He said there's a bank processing delay. Some new federal regulation. It'll be there by Monday. Guaranteed. He's so sorry. I nodded. A bank delay. That made sense. Monday came. Nothing. Now I was starting to sweat. My chest felt tight. Leo. Still nothing. I need to talk to this guy. Give me his number. Now. Leo held up his hands, getting defensive. Whoa, man, just chill. He's a multimillionaire. You can't just blow up his phone. He said he's on it. You're gonna spook him. Just trust me. Trust you. I trusted you with $150,000, Leo. This is my father's money. Jenna stepped between us. Mark, calm down. You're yelling. It's a delay. It happens. Stop treating him like a criminal. I was stunned. She was taking his side. I felt ashamed. I backed off. Fine. But you tell him he has until tomorrow, or I'm calling a lawyer. I slept on the couch that night. I was so angry. I woke up this morning. The house was silent. Eerily silent. No coffee brewing. No shower running. Jenna, I called out. Nothing. I went to the guest room. The sofa bed was folded up. The duffel bag Leo lived out of, gone. My heart started hammering against my ribs. A cold, sick dread washed over me. Jenna, I yelled, running to our bedroom. Her side of the bed was made. Her suitcase was gone from the closet. Her jewelry box on the dresser, empty. I grabbed my phone. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I called Leo. The number you have dialed has been disconnected. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely open my banking app. I logged in. Joint checking account. Balance. $47.12. The $50,000 was gone. Transferred out at 3:15 a.m. I ran to the living room. The TV, the laptops, the nice painting my dad gave me, gone. They must have loaded it all up in a van while I was asleep. That's when I finally understood. They weren't gone. They were gone. Together. I called the police. An officer came, took a report. He had that pity look. Sir, I'm sorry, but your wife took money from a joint account. That's a civil matter. And you willingly transferred the other money. As for the items, we'll look into it. But honestly, it sounds like you've been the victim of a very sophisticated scam. A scam by my wife. I've been sitting on the floor for hours. I don't know what to do. I have no money. My family is gone. My life, the one I thought I had, is completely destroyed. What do I do, Reddit? Where do I even start? First, I just want to say thank you. I've read every single comment. I didn't expect this to blow up. The support, the advice, It's the only thing that's kept me from completely shutting down. I felt so stupid and so alone. Your comments made me realize I'm a victim, not an idiot. And they made me get angry. And that anger, it's given me a focus. I have an update. And it's so much worse than I could have ever imagined. After I made that post, I just shattered. I think I cried for about an hour. All the betrayal, the grief for my dad, the humiliation. It all came crashing down. But then I read a comment that said, "They think you're a dumb, broken man. They're counting on you to just roll over." Don't. That lit a fire in me. I stopped crying. I got up. I started tearing the house apart. Not in a rage. Methodically. They were smart, but they're not perfect. They must have left something. I went to the guest room first. I pulled the sheets off the sofa bed. I looked under the cushions. Nothing. But then, stuffed way back, between the mattress and the frame, I felt a piece of paper. It was a crumpled receipt. It was from a convenience store, dated 3 weeks ago. The time stamp was 2:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. I remembered that day. Leo was supposedly at home all day, polishing his resume, and helping me fix the hinges on the kitchen cabinets. But the receipt, it wasn't from our town. It was from a town 90 miles north. A little nothing town I'd barely even heard of. Why would he lie about that? A 180-mile round trip. I checked our car's GPS. The history was wiped. Of course. I went to our home office. Jenna's laptop was gone, but my old desktop was still there. I remembered that we had a shared family cloud account, one we used for backing up photos. I hadn't logged into it in ages. I logged in. It was all there. Years of our life. Christmases. Vacations. Selfies. I started scrolling back. Past our wedding. Past our engagement. Back to when we were just dating. And then I stopped. My blood turned to ice. The folder was dated 10 years ago. 2 years before I ever met Jenna. The album title was Summer 15. It was a picture of Jenna, younger, in a bikini at a beach party, and she was kissing a guy. It was Leo, not a peck on the cheek. This was a full-on, passionate, hands in the hair, romance novel cover kiss. My stomach dropped. I clicked through the album, picture after picture. Them at a bonfire, his arm around her. Them on a road trip, her asleep on his shoulder. They looked happy and deeply in love. I kept digging. I found her old college photos. A formal. There he was again, in a tux. Her date. His name wasn't Leo. In the old photo tags from her friends, his name was Ben. They weren't estranged siblings. They were ex-lovers. Or, I realized with a fresh wave of nausea, maybe not ex. My mind was racing. I went to her mom's Facebook page, a woman I'd only met a handful of times, who lived in another state. Jenna always said they weren't close. I scrolled through her family photos. Birthdays, holidays, all of it. Jenna, her mom, her dad. That's it. There was no brother, no Leo, no Ben. Jenna is an only child. The whole thing, the entire story. It was a lie, a long con. She didn't get a surprise call. She didn't reconnect with her brother. They planned this. They were probably just waiting for me to get a windfall. My father's death, it wasn't a tragedy to them. It was a payday. This realization hit me harder than the theft. The money is one thing, but the 8 years, the I love you, the arguments about pizza, the nights she held me while I cried about my dad. Was any of it real? The anger, it's so cold, it's almost peaceful. As many of you advised, my first call was not to the cops. It was to a lawyer, a shark. I found the meanest looking, best reviewed fraud attorney in my state. I walked into his office this morning. I was a wreck, but I had my evidence. The receipt, the photos printed out, the wire transfer details, the investment website Leo/Ben had shown me. I laid it all out. He looked at the photos. He looked at the bank statements. Then he looked at me and said, "Son, you're not a divorce client. You're the victim of a federal crime." He explained it. This isn't just, my wife left me. This is criminal conspiracy to commit fraud. The wire transfer across state lines to a shell LLC. That's wire fraud. That gets the FBI involved. He took my case. He made a call. I went back to the police with my lawyer. It was magical. The pitying look from the cops was gone. Suddenly, they were all business. A detective was assigned. They are now treating this as a major fraud case. But here's the real update. My lawyer hooked me up with a private investigator. A real deal, grizzled old dude. He started running background checks on Ben, last name. The guy is good. He's used aliases, but he's not a ghost. And he, like all idiots, has family. He has a real sister. And that sister is very active on Instagram. The PI called me an hour ago. Got M, he said. The sister posted a picture yesterday from a beach, a family vacation. In the background of her selfie, sitting at a beach bar, unmistakable, is Ben/Leo. And sitting right next to him, raising a margarita glass, is my wife. They're in Cabo San Lucas. Right now, my lawyer is already on the phone with the Justice Department, coordinating with the Mexican authorities. They are not going to be enjoying that sunshine for much longer. I'm booking a flight. I don't know if they'll let me be there when it happens, but I have to be in the same city as them when their world comes crashing down. They thought I was weak. They thought I'd just crumble. They underestimated me. It's over. I'm back in the States. They are not. The flight to Cabo was the longest 3 hours of my life. My hands were shaking so bad I couldn't even drink the water the flight attendant gave me. I wasn't flying down to confront them. I'm not a movie hero. I was flying down to be a witness, to see it with my own eyes. My lawyer and the PI had arranged for a liaison to meet me at the airport. He was a big guy, an expat, who knew exactly how the local policia federal worked. He told me one thing: we wait. They do the work. You stay in the car. They were staying at a ridiculously expensive, all-inclusive resort. The kind of place they could bleed money and feel untouchable. We waited for 2 days. It was agonizing. I sat in a cheap hotel room, watching the wall, while the PI and the liaison worked with the authorities, getting the warrants and extradition papers cleared. On the third night, we got the call. They're at dinner at the hotel's beachfront restaurant. We're moving in. We drove to the resort. Our car parked on a service road overlooking the restaurant patio. It was one of those perfect, breezy nights. Torches lit, people laughing, and I saw them. Jenna was wearing a new, expensive-looking white dress. Her hair was down. She was laughing, holding Ben's hand across the table. They were drinking champagne. They looked happy, untouchable, celebrating their victory. My stomach churned. I wanted to scream. Then, 2 plainclothes officers walked onto the patio. They went straight to their table. I saw the moment Jenna's smile froze. That confused, annoyed look. Can we help you? They spoke to them quietly. Ben's face went ashen. He started to stand up, and one of the officers put a firm hand on his shoulder. Jenna, she started to make a scene. What is this? Do you know who we are? That's when they put her hands behind her back. She started screaming. They walked them both off the patio, in handcuffs. As they were being put into a car, Jenna looked past the officer, and she saw me. I had gotten out of my car, standing in the shadows. Our eyes met. I was expecting, I don't know, guilt, fear, sadness. There was nothing. Just pure, unadulterated rage. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't sad. She was furious that I had ruined it, that I had caught her. That one look told me everything I needed to know. The woman I married was a ghost. She never existed. This stranger, was the real person. Ben/Leo just stared at the ground. The coward. They were extradited. It was fast. The U.S. Marshals picked them up. I flew back home. The house was still empty, but it felt different. It wasn't my home anymore. It was just a crime scene. It's been a week of legal hell. Here's where we stand. The criminal case. They are both facing a battery of federal charges. Wire fraud, conspiracy, passport fraud, Ben's was fake, and more. The evidence is overwhelming. The photos, the bank transfers, the fake investment site, which the feds tore apart, the recorded voicemails from the non-existent bank. My lawyer says they are looking at significant time. They both tried to post bail. It was denied. They are a massive flight risk. The money, this is the part that sucks. We haven't recovered all of it. The $50,000 from the joint account is gone. Poof. They spent it on flights, the resort, clothes, God knows what else. Of the $150,000, the feds were able to freeze the LLC's account. They had already moved a lot of it, but we got $80,000 back. It's not everything, but it's not nothing. My life. I filed for divorce the day I got back. It's going to be the easiest divorce in history, considering my wife committed several felonies against me. I'm selling the house. I can't be here another minute. The memories, or the lies, are in the walls. I'm moving into a small apartment downtown. People keep asking me if I'm okay. I'm not. I'm a wreck. I feel like I just woke up from an 8-year coma. I have to relearn my own life. I have to question every memory I have. It's humiliating and it's devastating. But I'm also not broken. My dad worked his whole life for that money. He wanted it to give me security, a good start. And in the most twisted, horrible way imaginable, it did. It exposed the cancer in my life and gave me the money to hire the surgeons who cut it out. The last thing I heard was that Jenna and Ben turned on each other instantly in interrogation, each blaming the other for being the mastermind. It doesn't matter. They're both going down. And me? I'm starting over. With $80,000, a new apartment, and not a single person in my life who I can't trust. It's terrifying. But it's also, finally, real.